Now to a 17-year-old's chilling confession. Jake Evans says a horror movie gave him the idea to kill his mother and 15-year-old sister at the family's Alito home last October. A warning now, some of the details you're about to hear are graphic and disturbing. NBC5's Scott Gordon is here with the new developments in this story. Scott?
Well, Christy, this is it. The teen's statement to police was introduced as evidence in court this week and just released by the judge late today. Hours after police say 17-year-old Jake Evans killed his mother and sister, he wrote a chilling 4-page confession explaining in graphic detail how he did it and why. He wrote he watched Rob Zombie's Halloween 3 times that week. It's a horror movie about a young boy who murdered his family. While watching it, he wrote, I was amazed at how at ease the boy was during the murders and how little remorse he had. Afterward, I was thinking to myself, it would be the same for me when I kill someone. Later, as his mother and sister watched the presidential debate that night, he says he just sat in the living room thinking about how I was going to kill my family. Just like in the movie, he says he got a knife, but then he changed plans. After a while, he wrote, I thought to myself that if I were to kill my mom and Mallory, I wouldn't want them to feel anything. So I decided to kill them both with the .22 revolver I stole from my grandpa. He says he nervously walked around the house, thinking how life will never be the same and how I would never see them again. He knocked on his sister's bedroom door. She came out, and out of the corner of her eye, she saw me pointing the gun at her, he wrote. She thought I was joking and told me that I was freaking her out. I shot her in the back and then the head. He wrote he then shot his mother 3 times. In shock, I ran to my room and was screaming at the top of my lungs, he wrote, that I am really messed up and that I killed my mom and sister. He says he emptied the shells on his bed. He then wrote, I heard noises and realized that Mallory was still alive. When I loaded the gun back up, I was shouting that I was sorry and then ran as fast as I could to kill her. I made sure my mom was dead and shot her again in the head. He then called 911.
Just to let you know, like, I hate the feeling of killing someone. I'm gonna be messed up.
In the last few lines of his confession, he wrote, I know now, though, that I'm done with killing. It's the most dreadful and terrifying thing I will ever experience. And what happened last night will haunt me forever. Evans remains behind bars tonight on $750,000 bond. His father, who was out of town the night of the killings, says the family supports him but wouldn't bail him out even if they had the money. Brian?
Thank you, Scott.
But he realizes that he starts falling into a pit. The Bible said that hell is a place of a bottomless pit. It is a place where this individual starts falling. The greatest sensation he realizes is that head over heels he's falling. down into a pit. He's going further and further and further away from any love, from any peace, from any joy, from any rest, from anything that anyone would ever want. This man is going further and further and further away. And he keeps falling and falling and falling. You see, he's died, and it's too late for him. Once an individual dies without God, my friend, you can't pray over their body. It's too late. There's not a thing you can do for them. They're gone. And he falls. And he continues to fall. But beneath him, hell opens its mouth. And beneath him, the screams and the wailing of the damned are coming up into his ears. He realizes that beneath him is another world, a world that he's never seen before, a world that he's had no part in, a world that he doesn't want any part of, but it's something he has no control over whatsoever. He's going down now, and his soul is being carried ever so swiftly down into the pit, and he continues to fall. The screams are reaching his ears, and the smell, and the screams of the smell of that that's coming up out of the pit of the damned. He smells it, and he hears it, and there's no doubt in his mind what lies beneath him. He knows that he's going there, and he can't stop it, and he continues to fall. And the heat now, not only do the screams rise up into his ears, not only does he smell the smell of the stench of the decaying matter beneath him, and the smell of hell, but my friend, the heat begins to rise up and engulf him. And he realizes that the deeper he falls into this pit, that the hotter it gets. And down he goes, deeper and deeper and deeper into the pit. The screams are growing louder, and the heat is hotter. Why? Because he's falling, my friend, into a pit. And the pit in the Bible is described as hell. So down he goes, and he can't stop himself. Maybe he claws at the sides. Maybe he does everything he can to try to stop this terrible plight that he's about to enter into. But I'm afraid it's too late. It's too late when you die, my friend. It's entirely too late. And down he goes, ever further into the pit. Now the heat is unbearable. The heat has surrounded his body. And there, everywhere he turns, is no peace. There's no way to get out of this searching, this searing pain that's cutting at him all around. He screams and he begs and he pleads, but it does him no good. There's no ear for his plea to fall upon. Nobody loves you in hell. Nobody's concerned about your suffering in hell. Nobody wants to hear about your plight when you go to hell. They're crying too, and they're weeping and they're wailing and they're moaning too. And down he goes. He's clawing and he's scratching and he's gnashing his teeth. He's gnashing his teeth because the pain now is unbearable and there's nowhere to go to. He can't get out of it. There's nothing he can do, and he continues to fall.